Good morning. Welcome to our gathering here at First Unitarian Universalist Church of Stockton. This is our virtual church, and we hope that you'll join us in the future as we attempt this the next few weeks. We're glad you're with us and hope that you will find here what you are seeking. We are a community of individuals holding many different beliefs, coming from many different places, and each progressing on our own journeys of life and faith. We join together in our commitment to care for humanity and to shape a better, healthier, more hopeful world. We promise to accept and encourage all those persons of goodwill who gather here, recognizing that we all continue to grow and learn throughout our lifetimes. We especially welcome and stand with LGBTQ persons, even as we seek to welcome all persons of every age, ability, status, and shade of skin. We strive to make our community a place of peace and acceptance, love and nurture, even as we challenge ourselves and others to live more faithfully according to the values of Unitarian Universalism. I would usually say something about our children's program, but we're going to skip over those parts today because we don't have children with us, and we may add that next week. We also usually have a gathering after the service, but we're suspending those for the coronavirus response as well as our services. But we will go to our prelude, and we have our pianist, Bhakti Chan, who's going to play that for us. Thank you, Bhakti. Our opening words are from our Unitarian Universalist hymnal, Singing the Living Tradition. These are by Starhawk, number 517 in our hymnal. I who am the beauty of the green earth and the white moon among the stars and the mysteries of the waters, I call upon your soul to arise and come unto me, for I am the soul of nature that gives life to the universe. From me all things proceed, and unto me they must return. Let my worship be in the heart that rejoices, for behold, all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals. Let there be beauty and strength, power and compassion, honor and humility, mirth and reverence within you. And you who seek to know me, know that your seeking and yearning will avail you not, unless you know the mystery. For if that which you seek you find not within yourself, you will never find it without. For behold, I have been with you from the beginning, and I am that which is attained at the end of desire. And at this time, we light our chalice. We light our chalice today for the earth, our mother, our home. We pray that she will continue to provide for her people of so many lands, and that we will learn to better return the love and life she bestows upon each of us. And now we would have the first hymn, which is number 163 in Singing the Living Tradition, For the Earth Forever Turning. Then we share our words of affirmation, and we usually have the children share one segment and the adults the other, but I'll read all of it today. We believe in love. Love is the only doctrine of this church. We believe in truth. The quest for truth is our sacrament. We believe in helping others, and service is our prayer. We believe in the sacredness of life, to dwell together in peace, seek knowledge and freedom, serve humanity and fellowship, and cherish the earth and its creatures. This do we covenant, each with the other. And Here we would normally have a story for all ages, and we'll probably do that again next week. And then we move to sharing our joys and concerns, our milestones, by lighting candles. And I'm going to just light one candle today for the concerns that have kept us from meeting in person, and the hope that all people will get through this time as well as possible. As we send our good energy out to all those in need, we take these moments to gather together, to remember those who may be suffering, to celebrate with those who are passing happy milestones, to remember all those in the world who are struggling from the virus and from so many other things. We pray for peace, hope, love, and joy to soon return to the lives of all. Now we join in singing Spirit of Life, and that also is from our hymnal number 123 in Singing the Living Tradition. It's number 520 in the back of our Singing the Living Tradition hymnal, and it begins, O our Mother the Earth. It's from the Teowa tradition. O our Mother the Earth, O our Father the sky, your children are we, and with tired backs we bring you the gifts you love. Then weave for us a garment of brightness. May the warp be the white light of morning. May the weft be the red light of evening. May the fringes be the falling rain. May the border be the standing rainbow. Thus weave for us a garment of brightness, that we may walk fittingly where birds sing, that we may walk fittingly where grass is green. O our Mother the Earth, O our Father the sky. And here we would normally share our offerings, and we hope that those who wish to contribute will send their offerings in to the church office. There's another reading then, also from the back of Singing the Living Tradition, and also from the native tradition, but this is from Chief Noah Self. Number 550. We belong to the earth. This we know. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. This we know. All things are connected like the blood which unites one family. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons and daughters of the earth. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. Will Earth miss us when we're gone? This is the title I had in mind when I started planning this service, but somewhere along the way the announced title was changed to, Will You Miss Us? The latter title seems particularly apropos to the current situation, though I will get back to the original in a bit. We have closed down the church for events and services through the end of March, with the possibility of extending further. Our church board will meet March 26th to assess the situation. The Unitarian Universalist Association, UUA, had recommended canceling any event or service where more than 25 souls might gather, but there is some flexibility for smaller groups. We are testing this format this morning for making our services available while we keep the doors shut generally. We certainly hope that you will miss us and our services and return once we pass this critical time in the spread of the COVID-19 coronavirus. We also may continue to either live stream or post service videos afterwards if there is sufficient interest. On the matter of whether you will miss us, there is the struggle that the board had in deciding to suspend events and services. We know that people need to be in contact with others, and with so many sporting events, concerts, classes, and other public gatherings being canceled or postponed, there will not be many chances for people to be together for the next few weeks. It was especially hard to decide that we would also shut down. But the possibility of saving lives and the science about flattening the contagion curve in order to better manage treatment options was too compelling to ignore. Therefore, the doors are closed, but a handful of us are trying to offer you all a way to stay in contact for the time being. The Caring Committee and others are also working on keeping us connected. And remember, the staff are still working, so call, text, or email if you need something. Please let us know if these video services are helpful and if you have any suggestions for how we might be more effective. Now, getting back to my intended question of whether the earth would miss us when we're gone, I think we also find one response in the spread of COVID-19. Earth is not doing us many favors on this, but I suppose it could be far more lethal than it seems to be. We don't have much information about those who are carriers or who have such a mild response that they don't seek treatment, but it appears to be several times more deadly than the flu, which kills thousands each year. It also appears to pose more risk for those over 60, which unfortunately most of us are. We will, of course, know much more once vaccines and better tests of contagion are developed over coming years. According to ancient wisdom, every crisis is also an opportunity. So far, the human response around the world to COVID-19 has been more than a bit chaotic. The U.S. president didn't want to use the test developed by the World Health Organization, and up to this point, few tests have been done, and many test kits lack necessary items in this country. China's response, quarantining millions, may be more effective, but it is not an option here or in most democratic nations. By this point, it appears that preventing contagion is impossible anyway, and we are suspending gatherings as a delaying tactic to flatten the curve of contagion and keep the numbers being treated at a manageable level. A more unified international response, beginning with the first known infections in China, would have been more likely to succeed in minimizing contagion, but it has now reached the level of a global pandemic. The changing seasons, particularly warmer weather, tends to suppress flu contagion and some other diseases, but we won't know if that will happen with COVID-19 for some time yet. One of the opportunities of this disaster is to remind us how effective science can be when it is well-funded and respected. Another is to remind us how much a unified international response to a crisis can help in solving problems and caring for those in need. The need for universal health care is obvious. With the Earth likely soon reaching a final breaking point, at least in regard to supporting the current human population growth at the current level of resource depletion, we have far fewer options to restoring a sustainable balance point. Continuing dependence on carbon fuels is unacceptable, as is the removal of pollution restrictions under Trump's new EPA. The Earth existed for several billion years before humanity's ancestors climbed down from the trees or otherwise gathered around fires on the long road to domination. Even a few hundred years ago, humans were afraid of wild animals, dark forests, deep waters, storms, and whatever might jump out. In fact, we are still fearful of many things, but humans have conquered the highest mountains and the deepest oceans and even the moon. Over the last 3 centuries, humans have come to dominate just about every part of the Earth. We also have torn down and burned the forests, polluted the rivers, lakes, and oceans, and the air. We have left the Earth barren and infertile in many places, the waters unlivable and undrinkable, and the air so filled with toxins that we often cannot safely breathe it. Humans have brought about massive extinctions among plants and animals as our human populations expanded beyond any limits, closer and closer to 8 billion people, with China and India each having more than 1 billion people. Even rabbits have run into limits on their populations, but now that wars and plagues are taking fewer lives and modern medicine is lengthening lifespans, our numbers keep growing. Science has tracked the growth and downfall of many previous dominant species of the Earth. It is hard to determine if Earth misses any of those previous dominators. Even the dinosaurs were pretty hard on parts of the planet, and plagues of locusts left their own problems. If we are living in the 6th great extinction, as some claim, will we survive? And if humanity, or even part of humanity, survives, will the Earth miss those who are gone? Over the last 1,000 years, we have dammed rivers, overfished lakes, rivers, and oceans, burned forests, reshaped the land, left the air almost unbreathable. We've been pretty rough on Mother Earth, and she still has provided well for us most of the time. Today, many of Earth's resources are depleted. Her soil layer is getting thin. Poisons are everywhere on land, in the sea, and in the air. Even without humans around, it will take a long time, perhaps millions of years, to recover from the human infestation. Some things may have been forever changed. The Earth itself may still be around another 5 billion years or so before the sun burns out and collapses. Any remaining sentient Earthlings will almost certainly have found new homes by then somewhere off in space, but will any of them be humans? Of course, we don't really know if humans will survive the next year, decade, or century. Would Earth miss us if we disappeared? The current pandemic will kill thousands, perhaps millions, but unless it becomes far more virulent, it will not wipe out humanity. It may push us to change our patterns of behavior. It might even help us to be more ecologically minded, but most likely we will soon go back to business as usual. Is it a message, a warning from Mother Earth? Some probably think so, but we have little clear evidence of that. Were the plagues of so many periods messages, warnings? Earth doesn't seem capable of changing the paths of meteors beyond the force of gravity, so it is unlikely that she deliberately killed off the dinosaurs. But what if the Earth has unseen forces, unseen powers that she might unleash against us? Is the Earth itself sentient? Science has harnessed the atom, discovered various strong and weak forces, controlled many of the operations of nature and the human body, and so much more. And yet, science is always learning, discovering, growing, exploring, at least where it is adequately funded and respected. As much as science has learned, we still live in a time when vast numbers of people choose various superstitions over science. The Centers for Disease Control and the Pandemic Preparation Office, had it not been disbanded 2 years ago, could have helped us to be so much more ready for COVID-19. Millions would rather pray than follow the wisdom of science. Many believe that science and religion are compatible, but come from different perspectives for seeing the world. But millions more somehow fear science will threaten or discredit beliefs written down millennia ago. Unitarian Universalists have been proponents of science and education for a long time. Given a choice between most old-world religious beliefs and the discoveries of science, most of us would choose science. We also have religious mystics and others who might see differently, but generally I think we would follow the science. We can't really answer whether Earth would miss us if we were gone, but isn't it an interesting question? What we can do throughout the current crisis is to stay in touch with each other, check in with each other, support each other as well as we can. This is an opportunity to really work at connecting with each other, and maybe Earth will become a little bit more disposed to miss us if we go. Maybe by being better stewards of Earth's resources, we will earn a more noble place on this planet, which is our only home, our mother, our source of life. So may it be. Shalom, salam, blessed be, namaste, and amen. And now we're going to share a closing hymn, number 207 in our Singing the Living Tradition hymnal, Earth Was Given as a Garden.
Tree of life and tree of knowledge.
I invite you now to virtually join hands with all your friends and neighbors in this congregation, sending good energy to all those that may need it today. As we gather, we remember that this congregation is dedicated to the proposition that behind all our differences, beneath all our diversity, there's a unity that makes us one and binds us forever together, in spite of time and death and the space between the stars. We pause in silent witness to that unity. May the stars carry your sadness away. May the flowers fill your heart with beauty. May hope forever wipe away your tears. And above all, may love make you strong. Stay strong through these difficult times. Reach out to those that you want to talk to.